is up, guys? Welcome to the Project J&K podcast. I'm your co-host, Jordan, with other co-host, Kelvin, in the room today, which...
I'm back.
Yay, woohoo, yay. That's all the yays you get.
That's all the yays I get? We just move on
that quickly? Move on. We're done.
Fair enough.
Okay. But this is a podcast where we read Reddit stories, we react to them, we show you like the top Reddit stories of all time, of the last week, things like that. And today we're going to be going into a couple of really interesting ones. I'm super excited to have you back today, especially to read these ones, because these ones are going to be about malicious compliance.
Ooh, what does that entail?
Yeah, so basically it's for people conforming to the letter. This is what it says on the actual thread, but not the spirit of the request. Does that make sense?
Not even a little bit.
So basically it's like you're doing exactly what you're told to be doing, but you don't really conform to the spirit of the request. You're adding a little bit of spin, a little bit of flavor on it.
Oh, so you don't really like it, but you're just doing it because somebody told you to do it.
Yes, and you're as maliciously as possible complying to the request.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I kind of love it.
Fair enough. You know what? I'm interested.
But before we get into it, how's Kelvin doing? How's your week? Give us a little sports update. You got 10 seconds.
Literally haven't really been paying to too many sports recently. Been traveling, haven't really focused back into all the sports and all the hoopla. So don't really have a sports update this week.
Oh yeah, another thing, we just got back from a really awesome trip to New Mexico and Oregon. It was amazing. I met my baby nephew for the first time. I'm like literally riding off of that high. UCF is about to begin classes, which is really exciting for me. So I'm about to be in the thick of it. So it was really nice to like go hike up a couple of mountains. I was so good at hiking. I was so amazing at it. I didn't even break a sweat.
Not even a little bit.
Stop. I wasn't even tired, but it was just amazing. But Oregon was like so beautiful.
Oregon's a beautiful state. If you've never gone, definitely visit.
It blew me away. Like, we flew into Portland, right? And so once we flew there, it's kind of gloomy, but we live in Florida. And so the type of greenery and the vegetation that you see is just like out of this world to like a Floridian.
Yes.
And all of the forests, the trees are like massive. I'm talking like 60-meter tall. Is that?
Yeah,
I feel like that's too tall.
That's way too tall. 60 meters is ridiculously tall.
Yeah, but it really tall.
Feet,
like 100, 200 freedom units as like feet.
Not 100. She's 60, about 60 feet.
I guess I don't know.
She's highly exaggerating.
Dude.
Even when she was next to these trees, she was exaggerating how tall these trees were.
That must be as tall as a skyscraper, for real.
They were tall trees, but they weren't 60 meters.
Oh, yeah. And like Portland definitely gave like, it was gloomy and moody and angsty, all of the things that I love. it gave hoa, 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 hoa.
If you know the movie, let us know.
Yeah. It definitely gave all of those things, especially when we were driving back through the mist and stuff. But then what surprised me so much, I should have looked at a map or something. We were driving from Portland to a kind of rural area, I guess, Bend, Oregon, 4 hours away. And we drove through canyons and like and high desert and red rocks. And then it went from like forest to canyon and then back to forest. And it was kind of the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Kind of jaw-dropping for a female who's only ever been in Florida. Flatlands. This is a complete 180 spin on her whole world. She ain't never seen anything like this before.
I was freaking out about the elevation.
Yeah.
I was like kind of like clenching the bars, like the seat of the car, like white knuckling it across some of the... I couldn't drive. Like I made you drive Basically. For me because I could not do it.
She made an attempt. There was an attempt at her driving, and then she realized we had to go up mountains, and she was very tense.
It's too much for me. I just like, I know flat ground. I get really excited when there's like a tiny little gradient in like Florida. I can't do
Also, if gradient
mountain.
became your favorite word for some reason.
I was just like, I would look at like a hill that we couldn't see like the top of that we were driving up, and I'd be like, Kelvin, a gradient. Whoa. And I genuinely thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I felt like I was repeating myself constantly, but the mountains were beautiful. I really recommend Oregon if you're ever able to travel out that way. It was surprisingly incredible. The wildfires are pretty bad.
They were. There was a lot of haze. I think it was just we caught them at a bad moment. But honestly, there's just been always a big issues with just forest fires and stuff like that. When we went there, they have kind of like a board of how high the chance of like wildfires are, and it was at the extreme. So it was at its highest point when we were there.
Yeah, which is really sad because there's less people being hired for park ranger duties. So there's more forest fires. It's just goes hand in hand. And I mean, climate change isn't a thing. Definitely. So that can't possibly be the reason why there's more forest fires and issues. But other than that, it was absolutely incredible. It was such a pleasure, like, traveling through those areas.
That it was. I'd advise anybody who wants a little switch up from just like the regular vacation where they go to beaches and stuff like that to try something a little different. Maybe go on a hike, try something new. You can go a little bit now around this time and enjoy just a nice calm hike. You can go into the winter times when maybe there's a little bit more skiing and snowboarding. It is really a place up to you as to how you really want to go about it.
I think there's so many possibilities when you're traveling to places like that. And I feel like we're glazing Oregon so badly. Like,
I mean, we had a good time.
So much, but we had such a good time. I've never been to a place where you can just really go from rivers to mountains to deserts and within 4 hours. I feel like in 4 hours of driving in Florida, like from Orlando, you get to the beach, and that's pretty cool. You can see a sunset, but it's driving through the same towns. It's like going to the like same setups. You see the same like stores and things
basically,
like that. There's
it's
no
just saying
variety.
That we had a good
terrain.
just like change of pace. It's different. We needed a little bit of break from the same thing every single time. So travel, do what you can, go see the world. It's a beautiful world out there.
Yeah, and we've also had a really fun past month of guests on our podcast. Definitely go check out those last episodes because I brought some of my best friends onto the podcast. Kelvin was in the room the whole time, but it was really fun recording all of those, and that was a really special month for me. I think that we kind of just had a great time in the pod studio.
Show some support. Watch those videos. Show some love into all of Jordan's friends. They all did an amazing job.
Yeah, they are amazing. Love you guys so much. But let's get to it. We've been kind of
a little bit off of it.
Kind of off topic. Let's get back to it. Malicious Compliance. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. So this first story, of course, is coming from to you from r/Malicious Compliance. The title is "Get Rid of My Vacation. Have Fun Replacing Me." So I originally posted this as a comment on another thread, but realized it needed its own limelight. I worked at a company that gave out exorbitant
Yeah.
amounts of vacation. Anyone who worked there for 25 plus years received 8 weeks of vacation and 2 weeks of personal time. This was a family-owned company, but rather large. We ran 3 shifts, totaling 250 plus people. Enter Jimmy. Jimmy was a grizzled old man. He started at the company when he was just 20. Now he was 63 and gave absolutely zero shits. Jimmy also knew how to make a specific part for our product. Him and one other higher up in the office. One day, the plant owner comes out and announces he's selling to a corporation. He's older and ready to retire. He promises that there will be very little change and wishes us all well. The new company comes in and immediately goes after many of the great benefits we had. The first thing they do is cut everyone's max vacation down to 4 weeks and do completely away with personal time. Anyone who's maxed out had until December 31st of that year to use it up, and they wouldn't pay it out. They then go into the office and clean house, firing anyone who's close to retirement, including Jimmy's backup. But they also do away with one very important rule. You no longer have to get vacation approved. You can just call in and take it. Jimmy is pissed, and they know it. They realize he's the only one in the building that can do his job now. So they hire a new kid for him to train, most likely to permanently replace Jimmy. So Jimmy does what anyone would do. He calls in the first training day for the new hire and lets us know he's going to use all of his PTO at once and promptly takes 10 weeks off.
Ooh.
We had a backstock of parts he had made, so it wasn't too unnerving. But for 10 weeks, Jimmy went and applied to other jobs, found one, and started. Fast forward 10 weeks, it's the day Jimmy is supposed to return. He doesn't. For 2 days, they try calling him and even go to his house. He's nowhere to be found. Finally, on day 3, he calls and resigns. And they lose their shit. The parts he makes are specialized and patented by the original founder. You can't just hire someone off the street to make them. What eventually happens was they had to contract the original owner to come in and teach some new hires how to make them. And when he found out what all they had done, it pissed him off. The last I heard, he charged them a 7-figure contract to teach them how to produce the parts. And they had to pony up or close down. Moral of the story, don't fuck with people's vacation time.
I love this. I love the idea of this. Jimmy was honestly amazing. I love that whole situation. Literally all about it was just like, don't be an asshole. Like, genuinely, it's like a lot of corporations sometimes take over and they do these big overhauls, whether they fire a lot of people, how they were doing with the company, and doing just this whole rework, and really kind of losing the soul of a lot of companies just because they think they can just profit off whatever things that they can cut off and make easier, and they take away all the human aspect. So Jimmy just kind of standing up to the man. I like it. And he's irreplaceable. He has this whole little thing where he can't really do it. Nobody else can do what he does. So he's just a complete asset. So I rock with you, Jimmy. I love everything that you did. 10 out of 10. I like Jimmy. Jimmy for president.
Jimmy for president. Jimmy knows what he wants, and he set out and knows that he's not going to people please. And I love that. I love that he's like, okay, I don't care. I'm out.
Said, fuck that shit, I'm out.
Yeah. He saw the one rule where he was just like, okay, like, I don't have to give them a notice about it, like about my PTO, sorry. And I can just up and leave, and all I have to do is call in. I'm going to do that. If you're going to make that a rule, and I know that you're going to fire me, so what's the point in sticking around?
Now, a quick word from our sponsors about Cozy Earth. Let's talk about something we spend a third of our lives doing, sleeping. Cozy Earth makes luxurious bamboo sheets, pajamas, and more. And I'm not exaggerating when I say the difference is real. Bamboo is naturally temperature regulating, incredibly soft, and way better for your skin than you'd think. If you've been tossing and turning on regular sheets, this is a genuine upgrade. If you're thinking about it, give our promo code a try. That's Project F, all capital, all one word, to get 21% off when you purchase anything such as sheets, pajamas, whatever you need, all in the link in the show notes. Again, good sleep is an investment that compounds over time. So thank you to Cozy Earth for supporting the show. Again, the code is Project F, all caps, all one word, and give it a try. Thank you. That man took 10 weeks of vacation time. And they were really hoping he was going to come back.
They really thought... The fact that they didn't spend those 10 weeks and they were like, this guy's never coming back. We got to figure this out or give him an incentive to return.
Could you imagine in that boardroom? So, Jimmy's coming back, right?
So, yeah. Jimmy's definitely coming back. Like, why would he not come back? He's worked at this company for years. He loves us. He loves us.
He promised he was going to train the new guy.
Yeah, he promised he was going to train him, so he must want to come back. But there is an edit. It says, Jimmy made an electronic control module that was sealed and stayed fixed in a poured unit made of a 2-part epoxy. Second edit is Jimmy didn't exactly, quote, miss out, unquote, on a 7-figure contract and had zero chance to take one. He left, said fuck him, and moved on. When they contacted the previous owner and explained the situation, it was basically a, quote, you need my help? It'll cost $1 million, unquote, type of conversation.
No, you know what? Yeah, Jimmy didn't really miss out because he genuinely didn't like the company at all. The direction it was going, he this is a full grown adult man, 63 at this point. Jimmy doesn't need all that stuff. He's literally just going about his way. He's going to go wherever he feels like he's treated the best. So I felt like he just moved on afterward. I felt like everything he did, he was within his right. They took away his vacation time, so he's going to mess with the company. And more so, you know what? Blow back on specifically the cuts that they try to do to kind of save some money here and there. They had to pony up at least 7 figures. So, you know what? Treat your employees better.
I guess that's the moral of this story for sure. There are 2 more updates,
Ooh.
which I don't think it necessarily needs that.
Yeah,
but the final update is thank you everyone for all of the attention this received. I had no idea this would blow up like this. I have immediate family working with the company still, so if I hear any more rumblings, I'll fill you in. Also, I worked here for 4 years. I have a few other Jimmy stories I may post at other times on the appropriate Reddits. Thank you all again. And then his last update was in 2025. And he says, this post is still rolling in comments and likes, and I can't believe how it's blown up. Jimmy is still around. I see him from time to time, especially at the local watering hole. He's still kicking and is still his old self. The company we worked for had a major restructuring for about 2 years ago, and things have gotten better there. So, Jimmy went back. I myself have moved on to bigger and better things, but after constant contact from their new HR and talent recruitment program asking me to come back, I've decided to at least have a sit down with them. I showed Jimmy the post one night and his reaction was comical in of itself. He says, quote, those fucktards didn't know who they were messing with. They sure as shit know now, unquote. Take in mind, he was probably 2 buckets in at this point. At the time of his reemployment, they were shaking things up due to a scare that the employees had brought a union in and were gearing up to vote on the matter. Part of his stipulations for going back were the reinstatement of all the benefits he'd lost and the dealing with of 2 of the problem higher-ups, an issue that had been brought about by several other employees at the time. 2 weeks after he started back, both were walked out of the building and told not to return. I can imagine the smile on his face as he waved goodbye to both of them. I'll be working by his side in the near future if things go well. Maybe I'll even ask for more vacation time. Thanks to all of you so invested in the story. I'm sure I'll have more to add in the near future.
You know what? Say it again. Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted. He's doing everything the right way. And then he's literally trying to do the best where he's going back in the same kind of concept and the way, same benefits that he had. He got 2 people that were basically just like a nuisance to the company. And then basically it's just showing happy story all throughout with Jimmy.
Well, isn't it like I feel like it's one of the worst things ever to know how important you are at a job and that you fulfill like a very specific role in this job to make this company actually be able to do what it does. And then they treat you like shit.
Yeah, we're talking about a 43-year vet here. Like, this is a guy, he knows the company in and out.
He not only knows the company, he's the only person who knows how to make this specific part. He's essential to the actual success of the company, and that is proved evident by the fact that they literally spent $1 million for someone to come back and teach people how to make the part. So it's really short-sighted, I feel like, on management's side to just kick him out.
Yeah, come in, knock out a bunch of people who basically had a lot of seniority in the company and then just get rid of them, and then they ended up in this like little whirlpool of a situation where everything just catastrophically just messed up, and now you have to go and rehire the people that you ended up firing or let go. So it's just like literally the worst just situation you could think of if you own a company or are you buying another company. Just everybody leaving, losing all your employees, all the valuable ones that actually make the company run. This isn't just a situation like this is like they were saying, like a family company. So a lot of those family companies, they have just a big connection all together. You have people that have been working there for basically their whole lives. Like basically Jimmy, who's been there for his entire work life. So you have these people who are so core and valuable to this company. New company comes in, soulless machine. They just want to cut corners, make sure that everything runs smooth in a very business sort of way. And then you just have this situation where things just get real messy real quick.
And I absolutely adore a story where like a company comes in and they're trying to cut costs or trying to like shake things up, make things new. And then it's just soullessly redoing the company and then it works not in their favor. I kind of love those stories.
This is a real stick it to the man kind of story.
It is a stick it to the man. And it's like Jimmy comes back on top and he gets exactly what he asked for. And he had a job in the meantime. It was easy for him to find another place. And so honestly, there was no sad parts of the story, which I really enjoy. I don't find that a lot on Reddit. And so, yeah.
You know what? We'll take the wins on Reddit. They're few and far between, but you know what? We'll take the ones when they come.
You ready to get into another one?
Do one last thing. Shout out Jimmy. We fuck with you here.
You've been shouting out Jimmy this whole time, man.
We fuck with you. That was great. That was fantastic.
He knows. Okay, so next title is No Second Date and I Can't Be Happier.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so I work as a server bartender at an upscale restaurant where we are known for the quality food we serve, as well as a more elevated dining experience. It's literally our whole thing. And my job is to guide people through the menu, making suggestions on their preferences, and engage at a certain level without being overbearing. That being said, I had a dude come in tonight, and the first thing he says to me when I greet him is, quote, "Hey, just so you know, this is our first date, and we aren't going to want to be bothered," unquote. Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
No worries. He gets a drink while he waits for her, and when I bring it over, he again reminds me that they're going to want privacy during their meals. I say, "It's all good. I won't invade your privacy, but please, if you or your date need anything, just flag me down, and I'll be happy to assist you or get anything you need." Now, the date comes and asks me a few questions about our craft cocktails and wine, and this man is visibly annoyed that we are taking a few minutes to decide on something. I drop her drink, and when I ask if they are ready to hear the features, he quickly says, "No." All right, buddy. Malicious compliance time. I take their order, say very little words, drop food, check in without staying, anything, just little thumbs up, hand gesture, and on my way. He never flags me down or anything, so all good. I grab their plates, silently drop dessert menu. As I'm walking over to ask if they want dessert, he just shakes his head and hands them to me. Coolio. Drop bill. Then, my favorite part. As I'm taking the payment, we take payment at the table, I engage and ask his date if she enjoyed everything. Her response meekly, quote, "Well, to be honest, the food was really good, but the service was lacking. I've heard great things about this place and the service, and I just feel like you didn't really explain the menu or check on us to see if we need anything," unquote. So I just told her, quote, "Your date told me multiple times to not bother you two. And if you needed anything, he was to flag me over, so I assumed you were fine," unquote. The look of disgust on her face was priceless. Cherry on top was he tipped 10%. So I dropped the receipt in an eye shot of her so she could see he was a deepskate. She slid me some cash on her way out, and they did not grab the same Uber together when they left.
Oh, that was good. I like that.
Honestly, like coming from like a server industry, the balls that she had to be like, "No, your date was just like, don't talk to us the whole time." That's pretty cool.
Sometimes it's good to just like stand up for yourself, even if it was in front of him or not. But that was a funny one right there. 0 second date chance with that one. But why was he so weird? Nothing was really kind of pushed forward as to why was he just like, "Oh, we need privacy. I'm like,
I mean,
okay.
I get it. Sometimes you don't want a server like up in your face and giving you like, because like sometimes you go to a restaurant for the show of having a server show you everything. Like maybe it's an interesting cuisine that you've never had before. And so they're explaining the dishes, they're explaining the menu, they're telling you what drinks that you should buy. And that's like a part of the entertainment for the night.
Yeah, no, like I 100% get that. But why was he like so pressed on just like having it be just like completely just them two? We don't want any disturbances. It's like did you discuss this with her? Was there something that you were like in this conversation where you just guys wanted to have a real close connection? It really seems like not, because especially at the end there when she basically stated like that she wanted it to be like serviced a little bit more, meaning that she wasn't in on this whole it's only going to be private situation. So already, why are you making decisions that you have no idea about whether if that's how your date wants to roll it out or not? The whole situation's kind of weird, and bringing it up more than once, I don't know what was going on. Guy's a little off, a little weird.
So am I crazy, or does this feel like he has a personality where he needs to be controlling?
Oh, 100%.
Of everything?
100%.
Like,
he had to say it multiple times. That's how you know he had it in his mind.
Don't come talk to me. Don't come talk to me. Instead of just being like, oh, thank you. We're fine. And it seems like this is a place where it's known for having a script.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we've worked at place. There's a script at most restaurants that the server is taught to follow. Yes. They have to hit all of the marks, because sometimes there's people called, what are they called? Oh my gosh. It's been a while since.
Mystery diners or
they're like secret shoppers.
Secret,
they're
something like that.
Mystery shoppers or whatever. And they come in and they have basically the company's scripting, and they check you to make sure that you're following all of the key pain points. And so they're following this secret little list. They're scoring you on service, on your scripting, on your diet, on the food and presentation and everything. And so you're just kind of, you have to do this thing. And so if a guest comes in and they're just like, we don't need the script, we've been here before, cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Fantastic.
We have made an agreement. We are in compliance with each other. And I don't have to do my thing, and it should be chill. I don't know.
But this guy was not that. He was just weird. He was just weird all around. He does not deserve a second date.
No, he
all.
ruined his date's experience.
Exactly.
She even was just like, normally the service is like I've heard that it's a certain way at this place, and it's not like that, and that's weird. And she noticed it, and that's really cool.
Oh, I just think it was hilarious. It ended up being a funny story throughout.
Yeah, it did end up being a really funny story. I mean, one of the comments is, wow. Someone says, hey, this is our first date. I'm trying to impress, but don't want to be a tool. Can you help me out? I don't dine out much, and I try not to be a pain for the wait staff, but it's not hard to treat people nicely. OP responds to this, saying, exactly. I've waited on hundreds of first dates. Normally, people are nervous, so I can help with the awkwardness of it all. Make the dinner seamless, crack a few jokes, etc. This guy was already acting like, quote, she's mine, don't talk to her, unquote.
That's what it gave. It gave a lot of energy like that.
Yeah. Like a controlling energy. Very, I don't want to say about misogynistic. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be. It's in the realm of just like this guy. I don't know what he had a full idea of how he wanted this date to go in his mind. Apparently, he didn't do his part. He didn't impress the girl enough to just kind of woo her with his conversations. The girl was still like, yeah, we didn't get the service. So you weren't as cool, or your bravado wasn't as nice as you thought it was.
Yeah, what's really upsetting to me is that the girl had questions about the cocktail menu, and he was visibly showing that he was upset that she had more than one question and wouldn't just order her food immediately. Like, how dare you have a brain? How dare you have curiosity? That pisses, ooh.
Run from the hill from this type of guy.
Yeah, and it's the first time you ever meet this guy, and then you ask more than one question that he's not expecting you to ask things, and he's visibly upset. Oh my God. Like, what is life with him going to be like? Be
careful on these blind dates you go on, people.
Who knows?
Some weirdos out there.
There are weirdos everywhere. Yeah.
There's weirdos around every corner.
It's just like, way to fumble.
Bag was fumbled that day.
Yeah, super fumbled. So, OP does edit the post saying, I'm adding this edit because I don't want this to become a discussion about the tip or tipping in general. I do not technically care how much I get tipped. Every server that's been in the industry long enough knows about tip karma. Get stiffed on a large bill, the next table will tip 100%. I guess that wasn't malicious compliance, just petty.
Yeah. That part of it was just, I think that was just a sprinkle on top. I don't really put too much emphasis on that.
Yeah, I don't think she was mad about the tip.
Yeah.
And I mean, people tip what they're going to tip. And also with prices rising in general, I think people are tipping less. And I think that shouldn't be, I don't know. I think that's kind of okay. We'll
get barked at with people who are in the service industry because that's how they make their money.
No, I know. And you should tip people for like the service that they provide, and you should leave a good tip regardless. Yeah. And you should be aware that you're going to go out and you're going to leave a good tip and stuff. But tipping the 10%, I don't think she necessarily even like was like, it was just like cherry, like she said, cherry on top of all of these other things is like, yeah, he's a cheapskate, and this seems like a nice restaurant where you do not tip 10%, and that's just like obvious. Exactly. Leaving the bill out for her seat. Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to be the cool guy in the date. You're trying to show that, see, you're a nice guy, you tip a good amount, blah 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 blah. It's one of those things where this guy bombed the whole date. Absolute bomb.
Yeah. OP does comment a couple of times, just kind of like explaining like a little bit of like how they do the payment thing and how the conversation even came up that like about the service. And it seems to me that this is one of those places where it's like you tap, like they have to hold the thing and they give it to you and they're like, here, tap through this survey.
Is it the one where it's like you just like, please sign here, and then it has the tip percentages at the top?
Yeah, and then like there's a survey at the end, and it's just like, did you like your service? Did you like me? Which like, so somebody comments and says, so why would you engage his date this way at the end if he said he didn't want to be bothered? Ooh, you know, he said, I don't want to be bothered. But the person does say, but what an odd request. What was this dude's fucking problem? OP says, we stand at the table with the payment machines while they are paying. It's normal for us to engage with the guests as someone's going through the prompts, ask again if they enjoyed everything, if they have plans for the rest of the evening, etc. So I just did that.
Yeah,
I mean, and the girl talked, not him. And like, that's just like a part of her script. So I don't feel like, I don't know. He did say I don't want to be bothered. And I will say that sitting down on like the other side, sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't want to be tested after a meal. Like, I don't like where I have to do 1 to 5. Like, do I like you or not while you're standing there? So I get like maybe being like, leave me alone.
Yeah. I mean, with some fancy restaurants, at the end of it, they'll like bag up your food and everything for you. So in the meantime, if someone talks to you, especially if it's the guest, you'll answer back. It's not about like she went over there just specifically to have a conversation. It's just something that ended up happening from the point of view where it's just like, oh, she's bagging her stuff, giving her like the bill and everything. And as the bill is getting signed, a conversation is brought upon the guest who just is talking to the server. And it just ended up being like that. It wasn't anything that the server themselves was trying to make the guy look bad. Like, I think the guy made himself look bad.
He definitely, yeah. I mean, it's just like, it was the perfect opportunity because the girl was just like, no, like genuinely, the service was lacking. And it was just weird because it seemed like you didn't care about our table, you know? And in that position, of course, you're going to be like, I was told not to bother you guys. Like in your defense, you're just like, hey, like I wasn't like sorry, but like I was told to get away from your table. So that's why your experience was shit.
Yeah, exactly. Oops. Listen, I'm not gonna lie and say this, that, and the third. Like, listen, I was told, and I thought, because honestly, something like that is something that you would bring up to your date in the conversation. You wouldn't just like not say this. It's like, hey, I told this wait staff that I'm like, if we need anything, we'll raise our hand, but they're not going to bother us. That's something that you communicate. Or because like, I feel like you would communicate that because that'd be just like, if you need anything, it'd be kind of tough for your date to be like, well, I need this, but no one's really coming around. So it comes off as like, what's happening?
Ooh, well, like she probably, like the server, like OP probably was just like, well, maybe they have a couple thing where they're just like, we don't want to be bothered and stuff. So together, cohesively, they're like, hey, tell this lady to back off so that we can just have some alone time and talk about whatever we want to talk about.
That's how I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, like, you would assume that it's both parties that want that.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking in my mind.
It was not. It was just this dude.
It was completely like, I thought she was in on it. This lady was not in on it. So literally the point where she gets to the end, if I was a server, I'd think the same thing. Oh, I thought you were in on the whole situation, because if you weren't in on it, that's just weird.
Yeah, no, you're so right. We got one more comment from OP that I wanted to read out just because I find it interesting. And I lost it because I clicked the wrong thing, as I do, sometimes. So somebody does comment saying, so tipping 10% is being a cheapskate? I guess I am too European for this. True. OP says, I never worry about tips, honestly. And I guess this is probably why she added the edit. I am from Canada, and yes, tipping culture can be out of hand, but I usually would never, ever do this. it was just in the context of the guy completely ruining her experience of our place, and then technically being cheap that I was showing her, like, so she can run.
Yeah, I think people are really taking the whole tip thing as to more of the story. I think honestly, it was just a little bit of like the cherry on top, the little sprinkle to the story that says that, see, this guy just didn't, like, you know, and sometimes, especially you're on a date, you want to show that you're kind of like you're kind to those servers and you're kind to other people, that you'll tip that extra money. But it isn't anything to like attack their character. If you would have tipped like basically $5 or something, it's like, oh, it is what it is. He still tipped something, but I don't think it's anything for people to kind of like latch on to be like, oh, this guy's an asshole. It's just an extra thing where it's like, normally that 20% is what like most people are like, oh, this is good service, this is what we left, and that's how everything was. And for the server, they ended up doing their job. They literally stayed away from the table.
Yeah.
It just ended up being that this guy just definitely just had a poor date experience. So he decided, you know what, I'm just going to tip 10%.
Like a bone to pick with serving
but
staff, I guess.
He actually specifically, like, the server had done exactly what he wanted to.
Yeah.
He made himself look bad. And you know what? He still left a tip.
Yeah.
The 10%.
Well, I know. Yeah. I feel like tipping is kind of a very controversial topic.
Yes, 100%.
Because people feel very, very strongly one way or the other. I think it's very dependent on the situation, because I do think tipping culture is kind of crazy in some senses.
100%.
And depending on where you go, it can be even crazier. Like some places where, like for example, like going to like a chicken place where you type in the order yourself on the screen, and then it asks for a tip, but then like you type in the order yourself and then they don't bring it to you. You pick it up at a counter and then you clean up your own trash and stuff. I feel like asking for a tip there, sometimes I'm like, where is the extra? Like, where is the extra service coming from? But then they are not making like a crazy amount of money. So they do probably work off of tips. And so I understand being like, oh, wow, you didn't tip anything. Like, this is like my paycheck that you're messing with now. Yeah. But I think it's like, it can go both ways, where it's just like I don't know, people deserve to be tipped. But then also like, why do we have to be so like, you shouldn't care that much about it. I don't know. But then it's like I understand both arguments because it makes sense both ways. And so I'm like, I don't even have a good opinion either way.
I mean, there's a real American conversation. It's because Europe and stuff like that. Well, Canada as well. So very North American kind of conversation. In Europe, the tipping, it's part of the service, so that you don't have to tip anywhere over there. So it's a little controversial here in the States, where it's just like people will get real offended if you don't end up tipping a certain percentage, especially if you go to a nice fine dining place where it's like it's almost expected of you.
Yeah, this is a little vulnerable, but there's been times where I did my math wrong on the tips. I'm not dumb.
Quick math is just not Jordan's thing.
Quick math is my thing, but sometimes I'm just not paying attention. And I'm just like, I get nervous. And so I'm just like, ugh, and I write it down and I'm just like, oh, and they look at me and they're like, oh, and they're like, oh, you're dumb. And I'm just like, no, I'm not dumb. I just am dumb.
If anybody made sense of that.
Yeah. But I've messed up on tips and then I feel really bad about it's just this added emotional layer to going out to eat that sometimes I'm like, I'd rather eat at home. Yeah. I'd rather cook my own food, because I'm just like, I don't want to let people down. I don't want me going and eating to be a reason why somebody has a bad time serving me. I don't know. I want to be a good customer, and sometimes I feel like that's hard to do because there's expectations set in place.
Yeah. It's weird on both sides, especially being from people who had worked in the service industry, knowing how the whole situation works. Tipping for some places, it's very valuable because they'll genuinely make breadcrumbs as their actual paycheck, and they basically live off the entire tip.
Yeah, and just so you know, listeners out there, we are judging you. Based on the tip that you leave, we're in the back server alley being like, this dude is a cheapskate. This dude.
Unfortunately so. Unfortunately so, but that
is the culture. You're getting talked about.
Yes.
And you are definitely being judged on what you're leaving. And that's just the server culture, and I don't think that you need to take it too deeply.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what we were doing all the time.
100%.
Not that I had like a crazy amount of experience in the server industry. I was like super young. So just kind of talking out of my booty hole. But yeah, I feel like that's all I have to say about the second date one. Do you have anything else you want to add, babe?
No, that was good. In all honesty, I think literally the whole situation was completely handled fine by the server. The guy was a little weird, 100%. Just like with the whole leave us alone.
Boo, men. Am I right?
Not really even telling his date.
Tomato, tomato, tomato. That's all I gotta say. Be better.
Be better.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you've been curious about matcha but thought it was complicated, think again. Mantra Matcha has blends with actual benefits. We're talking sustained energy without the jitters, better focus, and a smooth taste that doesn't taste like grass clippings. If you want to try their most popular flavors, I highly suggest the banana cacao. It's incredible, it's smooth, rich, and perfect for muscle recovery and mood. Or grab their superfood berry blend, packed with many antioxidants to fight inflammation and keep your energy steady all day long. Whether you're the traditional ceremonial vibes or just want to throw it into your morning routine, Mantra's got premium Japanese matcha that actually tastes good. If you've been hesitant, now is the best time to give it a try, because when you use our promo code PROJECTF, all capital, all one word, you get 15% off. Try it today and you'll be wondering why you waited so long. Again, that's Project F, all caps together.
Okay, so this next one is titled, My Latest New Client Set the Strictest Rules I've Ever Heard. I obeyed every one of them. She still claimed I was the problem and lost her mind. So yesterday, I had a new client who was referred to me book a 90-minute mobile massage. She was very specific over text before I even showed up. She told me exactly what she wanted. Deep tissue only, focus on her upper back, shoulders, and neck. Do not check in with me at all. I hate when therapists keep asking if the pressure is okay. Just do the work. I don't want any small talk either, just be quiet. When time is up, that's it. No free extras. I confirmed everything back to her, so there was zero confusion. She replied, perfect. See you then. I get there, set up, and go over the same list one more time in person just to be safe. She nods and says, yep, that's exactly what I want. Don't ask me anything once we start. So, I did exactly that. I put my headphones in to get some much needed audiobook time. One ear only so I could still hear if she actually needed something. Started the timer on my phone where she could see it and worked in complete silence. No check-ins. No, quote, how's the pressure? Unquote. No small talk. Just the exact work she requested. Every time I felt her body tense or shift, I kept going at the same pressure she had asked for. No adjustments, no questions. When the 90 minutes hit, I stopped immediately. I didn't offer the free scalp massage or hot towels I normally throw in. I just said, that's time. She sat up, looking annoyed, and said, quote, wait, that was it? The pressure felt hard toward the end and you never even checked on me. Most therapists give a little extra time, unquote. I looked at her calmly and said, you specifically told me not to check in, not to ask about pressure, and that when time was up, that was it, no free extras. I followed your instructions exactly. She got quiet for a second, then said, quote, well, I didn't mean it like that. You should have known to check anyway. I'm not tipping for that. I smiled and said, that's fine. The session is paid for already. You can get dressed and I'll be outside. She started packing up her things while muttering about how I was too rigid and not customer service oriented. I just kept packing my stuff in silence the same way she had requested the entire session. I have never felt more at peace ending a session. Was I supposed to ignore the very clear rules she set and somehow read her mind instead?
Oh, brother, this lady's... That whole thing was just weird. What do you mean you were gonna, either way they were gonna regardlessly check in on you? That's the whole point of signing the thing beforehand, is so you let us know what the whole service is gonna be like. She wanted no talking, no discussions, no this pressure too much. She set the guidelines and said, well, you could have just broken them. Like, what? No.
She's like, you could have just, I know I told you what to do and I told you exactly how to do it. And I was very thorough in explaining that that's exactly how I wanted you to do it. But I didn't want you to do it that way. And I feel like sometimes maybe I'm like that.
Like, this is a girlfriend type of situation. They don't even know that this didn't even know this lady. And the whole situation was just like, but you could have still done it. Just read my mind.
Read my mind.
You weren't clocking what I was on. You don't know what I'm thinking.
You're not clocking that I wanted the hot towel. I wanted you to give me a little extra lovin'. Like,
and then you said I said I didn't want the free stuff, but I really wanted the free stuff. Like, come on, you should have known everything was a lie. I'm messing with you, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think everybody agrees with you too. People are saying, yep, she was looking for an excuse to be nasty. If you had given her extra time or checked in, she'd be like, I told you not to do that.
100%. Type of situation that would happen for sure. She would literally be like, I told you not to check in on me. I'm like, it's a lose-lose situation with these kinds of people who they will just tell you whatever thing that's just bothering them.
This is how I know that you actually really believe what you just said, because you gave me that like assertive like finger point like up to the sky. You're like, yes, exactly.
Because some people are like that.
Truthfully,
no, some people are like that.
Yeah.
Some people will genuinely be like, oh, this is exactly how I want it. And then the moment they get exactly what they want, they're like, actually, I wanted it a different way.
Which is okay. Like, I mean, just don't leave so many instructions. Don't try to like force, like in the last story, don't try to force the situation or control the situation so much when you're not the person providing the service.
Exactly. Don't be very rigid. Be loose. Be accepting. Things can happen.
And I want to say rigidity is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's just in this situation, it's kind of a bad thing.
In these situations, especially when you're meeting somebody on a date for the first time, you're having a first time appointment with a masseuse, not masseuse, oh my God, massage therapist. Sorry. But when you're like doing that for the first time, you have to leave a little bit of room for the fact that it is the first time you guys are interacting. And so personalities need to be, worked out.
Yes.
Because it's a client relationship,
especially when when a service is provided. Like, you have to have some input in the way that the service is provided for you to get the exact thing that you wanted in the end.
Yeah, and
with the last story with the whole date, giving a little back and forth just so like the date was aware as to what was happening, and in this story, having the whole system how they really wanted it down, more than just like, oh no, I'm very strict on these guidelines. If you don't follow these guidelines, I'm gonna have an issue. No. Be a little bit more flowing. Let us know if you want a little bit more of a conversation to let us know how you're doing or not. Stop being just like, no, don't do it. Be like, hey, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and I think for the massage therapist, this was a positive experience through and through because she double-checked. Client texted her being like, no, I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want any free. Like, listed out everything that she wanted. And sometimes people change their mind when they see the person. She reaffirmed with her when she got into the room.
Double checked.
This is what you want. Like, making sure you don't want anything free. You want the 90 minutes. That's it.
Exactly.
Yes. Cool. We're done. We're good. Let me set my timer. I'm going. Not gonna talk to you the entire time, and then I'm gonna leave. And for you to turn around and be like, why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you make me feel good or like ask me questions? That's kind of rude of you, right? No, lady, it's not rude of me. I did exactly what you asked, and I'm going to silently pack up and say goodbye.
Yes, like, especially if you've ever gotten a massage, you sign a whole list of things of what you want,
of what you want your
masseuse to do and everything. And
massage therapist.
Masseuses
are the ones that give happy endings, right?
I don't know.
Masseuses are the sex ones.
I don't know.
Right?
I'm not.
That's why I caught myself, because I'm just like, that's the sex ones.
Whatever your LMT does. What your LMT does, they'll have a whole, basically a whole thing for you to sign of just like, how much pressure do you want? What areas do you want to work in? What areas do you want to avoid? Is there anything that you would like to comment? Whether you prefer to do hot towel or you prefer to do whatever thing. They have a whole list of things that you want, and it's 100%. If you don't actually put it in there, it's not a service that they're going to provide, because this is what's signed and this is what they have an agreement on, so they can't switch it up. It's literally like a contract for them. This is how they do their work. So if it's something that you want differently, it'd have to be reworked. And this lady gave her whole spiel how she wanted it. Now she wants something different. It's just, no. It was 100% like, the client was definitely in the wrong with the situation. People just don't this isn't your best friend where it's like, oh, you could have just done, no, this is the contract. This is what we worked in. We're not going to do anything different.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, completely. I was just looking up the definition differences between massage therapist versus masseuse. The term masseuse is a French word that refers to a female who practices massage. However, due to certain unsavory connotations, as well as the need for a more gender-neutral terminology, both male and female massage practitioners go by the term massage therapist.
Massage therapist, or LMT.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I
think the world just kind of made that word. They destroyed the word masseuse. They destroyed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just outdated now.
You potty-minded individuals.
Did you say that? You've been hanging out with children too much. Mm-hmm. Potty-minded individuals.
I mean, we were with your nephew.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Don't talk about him. I'm going to cry. Yeah, I don't know. But I do know that I think OP did the right thing. They did the right thing. They did exactly what they were told to do by the contract.
Exactly. And they're not gonna fold.
Yeah, however this person feels, that's just because they're weird. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just a weirdo. And people can be weirdos, and that's allowed, and you can regret making a decision, but just learn from it.
Yes.
And yeah.
I think the moral to all these stories is just stop being so, like, close-minded on things. Be accepting of things to change and just kind of like accepting how things flow. Don't just be like, no, cut this off. This is exactly how I want it. Be accepting of how things change and be a little bit more conforming. If things happen to change, maybe they change in a good way. Mm-hmm. This lady was a lot easier and just wanted to just like have a good massage. She would let the conversation flow with her massage therapist. Or if the guy was a little bit more open-ended on just being able to just like accept that the date would have wanted things in her way as well, where she could talk about the food in the restaurant. And even when it comes back to our boy Jimmy, where it's just like he was like, this is how we've been worked for the last 40 plus years, and he just wanted a little bit of like normalcy rather than a complete overhaul. Don't be rigid. Be a little bit more open to change and have things be a little different. Don't let it just be completely just like tunnel vision the whole way throughout.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you said that very beautifully. I do have one last story for you. It's very short, but I think it's super, super worth it. And because it's your first time back, I wanted you to feel a little bit special. So it's just a really short story. You ready for it?
Sure.
Okay, so the title is, I was asked to monitor employee productivity. I wasn't told to exclude management. So I once worked as the IT guy for an HR company where the founder and president became convinced that the sales call center was wasting too much time on the internet. These were already the lowest paid people in the company, but apparently the solution to that problem was finding reasons to pay them even less. In order to not single out any one department, he wanted browser history reporting on everyone in the company. And that's in bold. So managers in HR could review it during weekly performance meetings. So I complied. I wrote a scheduled task that scraped browser history from every Windows machine on the company domain, stored it centrally, and fed it into a management portal along with the employees' information. The first reports came in. The call center employees were surprisingly boring. Sure, there was Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, and the occasional person apparently conducting extensive research into things that definitely weren't part of their job. But overall, they were pretty tame. Then, HR started looking at everyone else's reports. That's when things got interesting. The browsing history of the founder, owner, and the president was absolutely spectacular. So much porn. Like, the man has a sickness level. And while I wasn't particularly surprised, I had worked on his home computer before and already knew about his rather enthusiastic browsing habits. I had never expected to see it neatly categorized in the same productivity dashboard he demanded for his employees. A few days later, HR asked me if I could exclude certain people from the reports. I asked who. They gave me a list. The president was at the top. funny how quickly the company's commitment to objective productivity metrics disappeared when the metrics became objective.
Oof.
I really like that one.
That one was just like, ugh. I mean, keep the same energy that you were gonna keep on the employees that you completely just like. These were just bottom base level employees that you're barely paying any money. But when it comes to somebody a little bit more important, then you start to be like, actually wane off of this. Come on now.
Yeah, what is it about being just like, yeah, these people are definitely not working at all, and like then they're reviewed and they're not the problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the weirdos. And he got caught for being nasty.
Yeah. Just the whole situation is like, that's a terrible situation, especially with the president. That's just weird. Yeah. Why are you doing it on company computers?
Yeah.
Do you not have your own computer? Bring a laptop.
Yeah, and then it just like went away. The issues that they had them look at, it just completely went away because they were being objective about it, and the people who were wasting most of the company property and time on the job were the highest people in the company.
Like, what are you doing? Like, this is what you're doing on your free time? It just shows, like, you're basically just getting paid to do nothing. Weirdo. No, the whole thing was a weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that one was funny.
I think that is, like, was just a funny story.
A very good way to maliciously comply, because it's like, you obviously kind of know there's a nuanced demand there where it's like, we're looking at these employees because we want to find something bad about these lower level employees, but they did not say. They said everybody. Excuse. They said everybody in the company is going to be checked for this stuff, and so he checked everybody, knowing, because he worked on that guy's home computer, knowing exactly what he would find, and included that in his reports, because it's unfair for them to be looking at the lowest people.
They wanted an excuse just to fire some people.
Yeah,
they wanted an excuse. That's just how these companies work, where they're just trying to, like, any little excuse where it's like, he's doing this, and the third, where it's just the most minor little thing. Oh, get him out of here, and that's enough reason to fire somebody.
Yeah, because when you think about it, the way to keep, like, people happy is just, firing and replacing the people who are making the least amount of money so that you never have to actually pay them more. Oh.
Business 101.
Nasty.
No, but that's bad business running. Don't be like these kinds of people.
That's a bad story that I liked. I liked this story.
Don't be these bad weirdos. They're weird. Just because they're higher ups doesn't mean that they know better. They're just people in higher positions.
Yeah, and stick it to the man. I think all of these were just like sticking it to the man.
Sticking it to bad people. And partially we're sticking it to the man.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself.
Stick up to the genderly neutral man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep doing that.
And I think that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for sitting down with me. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to everything that we have. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts. I don't know why I said Google, but do it. Yelp. I don't know.
Yelp us.
I
don't even think that's a possibility.
I don't think that's a possibility because we are not a restaurant. But please, on Spotify, leave us a review. We love you guys. We love doing this. It's really, really fun.
Hit the notification bell. Jordan always forgets the notification bell.
I do.
Stay notified.
But you remembered, and that's what matters. My co-host is on top of it.
I am the notification bell.
Yeah, and if you want to listen to us weekly, we read Reddit stories weekly. That's all we do. We're not trying to sell our beliefs upon you or anything like that. We just want to read stories and have you enjoy them.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that.
Do us a favor. Come back next week and stay tuned to the Project J&K podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.